Michelangelo didn't actually want to paint the Sistine Chapel, but when the Pope asks you to do something, you kinda have to. While working on the project that he didn't want to do, there was a bishop that kept annoying him about the work. It's the guy who insisted on painting clothes on everybody. Eventually, Michelangelo got so irritated by this that he painted him. And you might think this is a great honor to be painted by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. However, on the wall of the altar in an area depicting hell, he painted a beautiful portrait of this bishop, entirely nude, getting his genitalia chewed off by a snake, which is basically the pettiest thing I've ever heard in art history. Aeroplankton, or aerial plankton, are tiny life forms that float and drift in the air, carried by the wind. Most of the living things that make up aeroplankton are very small to microscopic in size, and many can be difficult to identify because of their tiny size. Scientists collect them for study. Aeroplankton is made up of mostly microorganisms, including viruses, about 1,000 different species of bacteria, around 40,000 varieties of fungi, and hundreds of species of protists, algae, mosses, and liverworts that live some part of their life cycle as aeroplankton, often as spores, pollen, and wind-scattered seeds. I learned this after having to Google whether or not our atmosphere is full of spiders. A spite house is a building constructed or substantially modified to irritate neighbors or any party with land stakes. Because long-term occupation is not the primary purpose of these houses, they frequently sport strange and impractical structures. Spite houses, as well as spite farms, are considerably rarer than spite fences. This is particularly attributable to the fact that modern building codes often prevent the construction of houses likely to impinge on neighbors' views or privacy, but mostly because fence construction is far cheaper, quicker, and easier than home construction. There are also similar structures known as spite walls or blinder walls. This is my newest paint color. I've named it Copacabana Beach because it looks just like the beautiful water there. When I paint a normal wash with it, it is so smooth and inky. It looks really good on paper. But the more water I add, the more fun it gets. I've added lots of drops of water onto this already wet paint, and it's so fun how each of the colors kind of separate out of it and leave me with this really beautiful texture. It's a lot of fun to work with because it's always a surprise how it's going to look. But if I paint a nice, smooth, normal swatch, it's so inky, it's so pretty. I really love the color. Pans of this color will be available in about 6 weeks, but the dot cards are available today, so you can try it out for yourself.